Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Al Falafel, and this is Orchestra News Now. Our top story: are you using your bow effectively? The answer may surprise you. But first, let's take a look at this week's forecast and practice weather. As always, we have Chief Strings meteorologist Chet Sanders. Chet? Thanks, Al. So, looks like in the middle of our bow, we can expect to play fast passages through here quite a bit. Lots of control, super easy control. Whereas over here in the frog region, we can expect it to have a naturally higher pressure. And so we're going to expect a bit more crunchiness, a bit more power in our playing. If you're trying to play piano that is quiet, if you're trying to play quiet, you should probably go ahead and steer clear of this area as a rule of thumb. But if you are looking to turn up and get loud, this would be a good place to look. Finally, out here at the tip, we should expect a low pressure situation. If you're looking for an easy way to chill out and play quietly, this is where you're going to want to hang. Now let's go ahead and look at our practice weather forecast. And as you can see, it looks like every day from now until the end of time is going to be an ideal day to practice. Just perfect weather for getting some rosin on your strings and working those fingers. Back to you, Al. Thanks, Chet. And now we go over to music sports with Barry Laundrette. Barry? All right, fans, it's time for our roundup of all things excellent in performance. In our bow placement Grand Prix, we had some very strong showings. Like this player, who is setting his bow at just the right spot between the bridge and the fingerboard to make a fantastic tone at a mezzo forte dynamic. And wait till you get a load of this. Perfect crescendo. Absolutely dominating in the last few bars with a very nice transition to a forte bow placement. Over at the Tone Quality Olympics, we have a few early favorites, but personally, I really appreciated this performance by a newcomer who is showing some of the more famous participants how it's done. That's how you do it. Balance the weight of the bow against the speed and the placement for a winning combination. Very strong performance. I would watch that guy as a contender for Rookie of the Year. And here are your highlights for how other players have gotten good tone in recent events. Thanks, Barry. And now for our top story. Are you using your bow effectively? Experts are warning that students in their middle school years are having lazy bows more and more. Are you at risk? Tonight's special reporting comes from Lyle McPile in the field.
Looking around this quiet neighborhood, you may never guess that anything is going wrong. But this quaint environment hides a secret.
It's called bad tone. Using your bow effectively is supposed to be something that kids learn about in their first year of orchestra, but kids around here are doing it more than more, continuing to struggle. Is it an epidemic?
During our investigation, we spoke with a concerned local resident who had this to say.
The problem is these kids. They don't know how to use their bow. I don't know much, but I do know you can't sound good if you don't use your bow good. And these kids ain't using their bow good. I just wish these teachers would take care of it and teach their kids to use their bow good. How you gonna sound good if you don't use your bow good?
One expert says that the issue is simply a matter of education. Mr. Gruber, director of Missoula Youth Orchestra and director of orchestras at Porter Middle School, gave me an interview at his home office.
To get good tone, you have to balance the weight, that is how heavy, down into the string. The placement on the string, that is, am I here? Am I here? Am I here? The part of the bow, which part am I? Am I at the tip? Am I at the frog? Am I in the middle? And the speed of the bow. So for example, if I play with a fast bow, it's going to activate the string a lot, like this. But if I do that too heavy, that's not a good sound. If I do it too light, it's barely making any sound. So you have to balance weight, placement, and speed. The weight, if it's too slow, will sound like that. You want to make sure it's just balanced. And you can make it balanced for whatever dynamic you need. It can be balanced quietly. It can be balanced very loud. But all of those elements come into play.
Mr. Gruber says ultimately it all comes down to practice, and that students need to pay attention to the details when they are working with their bows.
So every student, if they practice with good intonation, that is being in tune, and if they practice with good tone production, which is weight, placement, and speed, they'll like playing their instrument even more. It's always more fun when it sounds good. Mr. Gruber went ahead to remind me that the aspects of good tone are weight, placement on the string, the speed of bow travel, and the part of the bow that you use. Now, if everyone can keep that in mind, we should all stay safe from bad tone. Back to you in the studio. All right, well, thanks, Lyle. We need to go to a break, but when we come back, we will get into the latest trends in which scales are rising and falling in our business report.